2022 2222. You found the Casual Hour, a podcast ostensibly about video games, but mostly about snow, baby. Lots and lots of snow.
Lots of snow.
Six more weeks.
6 more weeks of snow pounding us.
Phil,
Little bastard saw a shadow.
I'm Bobby Pease, a
Whatever the fuck that
fan
means anymore.
of snow. Chase Kinnicky, the gamer in the Go. Are you also a fan of snow?
I am. I'm also a fan of the movie Groundhog Day. I would say Bill Murray's best film?
No.
What are you going to say? Ghostbusters?
No.
What are you going to say?
What about Bob?
I haven't seen What About Bob.
It's one of
So
I would say it's the most underrated comedy out there, period. Full stop.
great.
Yeah.
I'm sailing.
And speaking of Lost in Translation, Johnny
Hey.
Amazich.
Johnny, are you a fan of snow?
Hello. I love snow.
The rapper or the weather?
I didn't know there was a rapper called Snow.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You wanna guess what race he is?
I feel like maybe I shouldn't answer that question.
I mean, he's a white rapper. He's a white rapper.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's nice when you don't have to go anywhere. Snow is great. Look
Yeah,
out the
when
window.
you work from home, when you literally do not have to drive in that shit.
I mean, I have a little puppy that I have to take outside.
You can find it real easy right now.
Yeah, she stands out. But you know, other than that, man, yeah, snow's great.
Good. Listen, boys, we got a really big episode. Let me just do a quick breakdown of what you can expect, okay? Tonight, we're going to be talking about what we've been playing. We're going to cover games like Pokemon Legends Arceus, Vampire Survivors, Webbed, RPG Golf Legends, some Elite Dangerous. We're also going to talk about a few current events. This is not a news-heavy episode. It's a February preview episode, but we're going to cover 2 big stories that dropped. And then we're going to tell you about the games that we picked for January, see if they held up. And then we're going to tell you about the games coming out in February and then our picks. But before we do that, somebody here, one of our casual friends from the show, we want to give a very kind and well-wish shout out to Preston. One of our buddies here at the Casual Hour is going through some health stuff, and we just wanted you to know that we are thinking about you and we are wishing you a healthy journey forward, and we hope to have you here in chat and on Destiny with us in the future. Please take care of yourself.
And we appreciate your support throughout our time doing this, and we hope that we can support you.
And also,
while you're going through your stuff.
Yeah, feeling like you can even talk to us about something like that it's quite touching. So
yes.
Hope you have a speedy recovery. Everything goes well for you, and we look forward to seeing you in chat.
I'm going to let you two pick how we flip this coin, because we got 2 news stories to cover, and we've got some games to get into. Do you want to?
Should we just get the Pokemon discussion out of the way?
I'm
No.
No? You want to do the news first?
I think we take care of this news and then we get to what we've been playing.
Okay, because that's
there's
always naysaying.
We're going to talk about Pokemon a lot. Let's get the other stuff out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That, you know what? That's fine. Let's
do it.
Let's get the news covered and talk through that really quick. So, how do you want to slice this up? I mean, nobody's asked us to be a part of their team yet.
Yeah, we haven't been acquired yet.
We're just holding out for $4 billion. That's what we're waiting for. If Bungie's worth 3.6, then we're certainly worth.
Yeah.
I mean, Chase, you spent approximately 3.6 billion hours playing Destiny, so
that's a great point. That's a fantastic point, Johnny. So the biggest news, I would say, Wordle's pretty big right now, but Bungie was purchased by Sony for reported $3.6 billion with a B. The B one.
Trace Comas.
Yes. Also the Denver Broncos are trying to be sold for $4 billion. So Broncos, Bungie, same diff. Basically the same
about
thing.
The Broncos.
Exactly. They don't have a free to play, or not. Well, I guess it is free to play.
You know what? Homer Simpson was gifted the Denver Broncos in an episode of The Simpsons, and he was disappointed. Yeah, the Denver Broncos.
So all joking aside, there's been a lot of crazy. The industry has been wild for about a month now. mean, it's been wild for longer, but the last 3 weeks has been.
This train's just getting started, buddy.
I mean, I think that it makes sense, right? Bungie is a very talented team. They've made some really good stuff. They've made some pretty mediocre stuff, but I think Sony. It's interesting that I don't quite understand it as much as I understand some of the other things that like Microsoft's been doing to get better, faster.
Think of the people that work at Bungie that have made the types of games that Sony is glaringly missing from their catalog.
I get that, but there's also a very big game that they are very much devoted to with Destiny. I know they want to do other shit, but dude, like they've got a lot of forward momentum and plans for that. So maybe they get some other support now that Sony's there to help them do that other stuff. I don't really know.
I think I would imagine them. Like, yeah, it's going to work both ways. The most interesting thing to me is that they retain all their creative independence. They're still going to be multi-platform. Like it almost is phrased to make it sound like more of a partnership than like Sony owning this studio now. And
it's interesting. Like it makes some sense and it doesn't make some sense. On the not making sense side, Bungie's gone through this a couple times before. They were owned by Microsoft and they wanted their freedom, so they got away from that. Then they were owned by Activision.
Were they owned by Activision, or is it like a?
They were. I don't know if they were owned or they just owned Destiny, but like they had a deal with Activision. And they weren't a fan of that deal. It was getting worse all the time. They did appreciate the support they got from other Activision studios like Vicarious Visions.
Right.
And that led to a lot of Destiny content coming out. When I think about something like Forsaken, the big expansion that people really liked, that had a lot of stuff in it. And that was because you had support studios like Vicarious Visions being able to build assets and build things for you. And there's been a noticeable drop-off of content for Destiny once Bungie bought out Activision for Destiny again.
Didn't they make a comment like they would not be able to make anything as big as Forsaken again?
Yeah, and for that reason. Like, we don't have the staff, we don't have the studios helping us out to be able to make that sort of thing. But we're Bungie again, we're Destiny again, we own all this stuff, we can build it to our specifications and make sure that we're not pushing something out there because our corporate overlords told us to. And so why would you jump into Sony if you didn't like ownership?
When you have the clout,
it's a little strange.
The clout to say, okay, yes, but we get to make what we want.
Right.
We have complete creative freedom. We're multi-platform still. Like, they got to lay out all these stipulations that any other studio would probably get laughed out of the room, right? Like if they try to make those demands and still be acquired by someone else. So
yeah, but they're Bungie. They can ask for that, and they know to ask for it after their previous times.
They've learned their lessons.
Yes, I would think so. And the thing I think really helps out. A lot of people are talking about this from the Sony side. What does it do for Sony? It gives them a foot into service games, which is something that PlayStation doesn't have a lot of, and the ones that it does have aren't all that great. Right. I think about what's that car combat game they tried to put out? No. This is the one that was all Sony. They put it out on PlayStation Plus for free that first month.
No, it was like
it might have been. Yeah, it might have been Destruction All-Stars. Yeah, and like, who cares about the game? Nobody cares about the game. It came, it went immediately.
Yeah.
That's not their strong suit. So when you get somebody like Bungie in there, you immediately have something in your portfolio that says, hey, look at this. We've got a live service game, and it's probably one of the most popular ones. Top 5 at least, top 3 probably.
That new DLC has over 1 million pre-orders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which is
I believe it.
Yeah.
And for the Bungie side, it does make some sense. One, they potentially are getting that support back where they can make bigger stuff if they want to. But also, Bungie's been talking about for a couple years now wanting to expand the Destiny universe, wanting to bring it to other mediums, film, television, comic books, whatever. What Sony does? a lot of film,
a lot
of television.
Yeah.
They know that stuff, and so you get an immediate leg up of, hey, we can make some deals pretty quickly to bring Destiny to more platforms than ever.
Right.
And I'm sure that's really appealing to Bungie. So yes, we are getting Destiny multi-platform. That's staying the same as it always is. Destiny 2 originally had some PlayStation exclusive stuff. There was an exclusive gun. There was an exclusive strike. They had
an entire time, a year before Microsoft got an entire armor set for multiple characters.
Right. Yep. There was a lot of PlayStation exclusive stuff. It wasn't the best stuff, but it was exclusive stuff. It split the player base. It angered some people. I mean, the wave splitter is not a reason to give a shit about exclusivity, but hey, it was a thing that some people had and some people didn't.
Fuck you all. We have this. You don't. You know.
Yep. So once that exclusivity deal ran its course, Bungie did come out and say, hey, we're never going to do this again. We're sorry. We know that people didn't like it. I don't even think that we'll get exclusive Destiny content for PlayStation again because of that.
They already said that. They already said that's not happening.
Okay, good. So Destiny complete multi-platform. I'm not worried about that at all. I don't think you're going to lose support on Xbox just the same way that you're not going to lose support on Call of Duty for PlayStation. But we do know that Bungie's been working on a couple of other games. They've been working on something with mobile. They have a new big game that's probably somewhere in 2025, maybe even a couple years after that they've been working on. I forgot what the code name was, but they've been hiring up for it for a while. That I could totally see being Sony exclusive.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Of hey, going forward, we have some of our own exclusive stuff there, and you two don't care. You guys have PCs, and whatever they make is also going to show up on the PC. So it's kind of whatever. I still don't like all the consolidation that we're getting in the industry. I'd like there to be more studios.
Get used to it, because something tells me maybe we'll look back on these deals and be like, wow, remember when we thought that was crazy?
I think that we got to move on because we got a lot of show here.
We do.
But one thing I'll say is months ago, or a year ago, probably more, when we did one of our deep dives, and I talked a lot about the current state of mobile gaming and 5G and all that fun stuff and what that looked like. I know that there's pack-in games almost now for some of these cell phone carriers, and Netflix has a game studio and they're putting shit out. And I think that the consolidation stuff that we're talking about, it's going to happen. I think I'd rather see places like Sony have a home for Bungie versus AT&T or Verizon or something like that, where I absolutely think that you are going to see more of that type of shit. Amazon's got their service, which it's not fully baked yet, but it's better than what Stadia is. And I don't know if that's saying a lot, but there's just a lot of players entering the arena right now. And I think that we're going to continually see these bigger companies try and get their deck loaded to go up against some of these other people that have resources with cloud. So who's to say, I don't know, I'm not an expert there, but just some stuff there. Speaking of
sorry, one last thing. There is some light there. It's not it's not all doom and gloom about the consolidation stuff, because what happens a lot when companies get consolidated is there's you have to stay on for so many years, and then you're free to go once the the terms of the contract, and then you have a big payday and you can go out and you can build a whole nother studio with a bunch of other people. There are new studios being built all the time with money that has been made from selling their previous company. So we could absolutely see more new studios out of this as well.
Phoenix,
but I think when you have these giant ones, your Activision Blizzards being taken over, your Bungie to a lesser extent, your Bethesdas, those do feel like massive shifts because they are such big companies in the industry, and that's a little off-putting. Anyway, speaking of acquisitions, Bobby, go ahead.
Thank you. Another one, that hot green and yellow chiclets that you keep seeing everywhere on every news feed, the one that your mom's probably sending you now, that's a game called Wordle that now belongs to the New York Times. And
what?
I get it. That,
Did we see how much that was?
I know it was 7
They didn't
figures.
say. Yeah. Low 7 figures, so probably like 2-3 million.
And
Yeah,
I know
that's pretty
that
low.
I know that a lot of what has got people up in arms about that is that it says like initially it will stay free. But this has been pretty wild to watch as this game has erupted. We talked about it on our quick look, and Chase has mentioned on the show. It came out last year and has taken off in, I guess, late December, early January. Just really gained a lot of momentum on Twitter, it looked like. And then that was because
once that share ability to put stuff on Twitter. And the amazing thing to me is that he has the shareability in there, but it doesn't even link back to the site. That's the crazy thing. It is just seeing the squares.
At first, I was just seeing the squares and Wordle. I was like, "What the fuck is this? What is Wordle?" And then eventually, I looked it up. But you'd think that they'd have like a link in there for you to tap.
Well, I mean, good for him. Good for Josh Wardle getting his money. Like,
yeah. Nice little nest egg.
It's crazy. I'm sure that the cost to run that thing lately, because I don't think there's a lot of ad rev on it that I've seen, at least like a lot of ads, but like to have that site and
no ads on there,
to have like the server capacity to keep that up and running for how big it is, I'm sure that hasn't been cheap, but good for him. And
he stuck to his guns too. Like he said, I like keeping it the way it was. He wasn't going to make an iOS app or an Android app for it. Other people tried to do it for him, and made a lot of money before they got kicked off the app stores. But he kept his creative vision, I suppose, and was able to pull this deal with the New York Times. And unlike something with Bungie, they just kind of bought the idea, right? They bought the site. He can go and he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's done.
So good for him, I guess. Are you guys still playing every day?
No. Sarah is. I'm not. But it's just not. I like it. It's neat. It was a novel thing, but I don't like crossword puzzles all that much. And it's neat. I'm happy for him.
I'm still going every day. I think I've got a.
I wouldn't know you don't share anything.
I don't share. I've realized that's annoying to people, so I'm not doing that anymore. But
you can share with me, Chase.
I'll text you guys every day and let
Thank
you know.
you.
Wordle 3.
We've got to talk about Pokemon.
You guys want to know what today's was? Today's was pretty good.
Yeah, what was it?
What was it?
Moist.
Oh
yeah,
making millennial.
So if you're listening, you've got about an hour and change to get your one try Wordle.
I would love for us to have I don't want to limit any feelings here because I think this is a very big game, but just for the sake of, I can get through my other games that I talked about at the top of the show pretty damn quick. This is the one I think that we should spend the most time on, but I would love to just protect the rest of what we got to get through. So if we can keep this like 15-ish minutes, I think that would be a good target for us on it. I will say this much. Okay. I've spoken quite a bit about the game on our streams and our quick looks, so you can go back and watch those for some of my early thoughts. I want to get out of the way for Chase and Johnny to talk about it. I did hit credits on this game, and I've continued to play it since then.
Real quick, was that Monday night or afternoon?
Yeah, something like that. But
you know what your hour count was when you finished?
It was somewhere between 26 and 28 hours is where I was at to get credits, and I was a 6-star man when I did that. And I didn't really struggle at that point in time to do that. And I spent a little time grinding out, like looking for things, but I wasn't like specifically doing like the shiny hunts at that time. I wasn't trying to do too much outside of like, I was doing some alpha hunting when I knew I wanted a Pokemon. I was trying to get the alpha version of that. And then trying to figure out how some of the evolutions worked on this version. So I spent a lot of time trying to get parts and materials to make that happen. But not like I have been post credits. Like that's really all I've been doing. I've done a little bit of shiny hunting. I've really been working on finishing up those alphas, and I'm currently at a final battle. I've gotten all the other legendaries that you need to get before the big one for the game, and
Nice.
It's I've had to like do some research online for it, and people have said that this is harder than Cynthia. Like it's a challenging fight.
Well, in that vein, I don't think we need to cover the basics anymore. We streamed this last Friday. People can go watch that stream. We did a quick look. That quick look's up, correct, Bobby?
Yeah, everything's up on our YouTube page.
So people can watch that quick look. I think that's where we talk about basic mechanics and just kind of what the game is. So we can kind of skip over that and just talk about more feelings. I've got a lot of them. Johnny, I imagine you have a decent amount too. Why don't you start us off? Where are you feeling with the game?
I think this is the most fun I've had with a Pokemon game in at least a decade. And it's weird. Like, okay, a new Pokemon game, because excluding Fire Red, Leaf Green.
Sure. You're talking about you're not talking about like ROM hacks or anything. You're talking about like the mainline Pokemon games. Got it.
I played through Sun and Moon. I played through Sword and Shield. I played part of Brilliant Diamond, and in a lot of ways, it's kind of like it's just like this is Pokemon, and I'm gonna play this because it's a Pokemon game, and like I enjoyed myself, but it wasn't ever like it was whenever I first got into Pokemon, you know. Which I was a kid back then. But like this one, I don't know. They changed it up, tweaked the formula just enough that it does feel fresh in a lot of ways. Like despite how everything just has a grime to it visually, the actual like gameplay loop and collecting these materials and oh man, actually feeling like, hey, I'm not prepared for this fight is a weird feeling to have in a modern Pokemon game.
Yeah, you run out to that field for the first time and that fucking Alpha Rapidash is out there. And I mean, it just can destroy.
You're toast. And being able to be damaged by the Pokemon yourself adds a whole new dynamic to it. Being able to run around during combat or hop on your deer and just get the fuck out of there because it's bad news and you don't want to be around there. I don't know. It's really, really good. And I'm shocked at how much I'm liking this game because we were all like, we were dunking on it pretty hard before it came out. Just based on all the preview coverage that we saw and the visuals, which are not great. But
yeah, I mean the preview coverage we saw, one was just, hey, here's kind of what the game looks like, which we were really down on it, and that hasn't changed. I look at that game and I go, this looks bland, which is a real bummer because I think Pokemon has a really great art style in general, especially when it comes to the concept art, the character design, all of that stuff looks really great, and then you get to just the actual graphics of this game, and it's. There's a part I just got to this coastal area where you can get on this kind of tall, high area, and you look down at the beach and the coast, and it is just the flattest nothingness because the textures don't load in that far away. It just looks terrible.
Yeah, I don't like. I know the Switch is obviously lacking
a terrible
in terms
piece of
power.
hardware, yes,
but I mean, fucking Breath of the Wild looks incredible.
Yeah, I mean and that's the easy one to go to because they are going for pretty similar looks and feels. Still, they're not the same game for sure, but
most first party stuff, Mario Odyssey, Luigi's Mansion, all those games they milk everything they can out of the Switch, and to have the biggest, most popular franchise in the world look this way, like I just think about how much more I would be getting out of this if it looked as good as I know it could based on how other games look on the Switch.
I love how fucking bad the Pokemon in the distance, the draw distance, like the frame rate that drops to like 2, like a Zubat literally flies like this when you're so far away from it. I was thinking about like what could have they done to maybe help out with that, and you brought up Breath of the Wild again, low hanging fruit, but that is a cell shade. Like they do a cell shade on that, and I think that could easily take care of a lot of the graphical horsepower that they would be looking at, and I think it would look really cool too to have that type of styling, especially for this, which is supposed to have a bit more of that flair to it. You know, like I think that this could look really cool.
I would really like something more stylized. I mean, they do have the whole idea is that this is ancient Sinnoh,
right?
And they have a lot of that calligraphy, that kind of Sumi-e look that something like Street Fighter 4 had that was really cool at the time.
Yeah,
and
agile.
So you could absolutely lean into that and have a much more stylized art style, and I think that would have made the game a lot more visually interesting.
Right.
I don't want to keep harping on the graphics, though. I feel like I harp on them all the time because they are so bad. But man, this game actually really is fun, and I'm surprised at how much fun I'm having.
Me too, man.
Because I extremely like traditional Pokemon games. That is my shit. I do play a lot of ROM hacks just because I like that style of game, and I just want more of it. And thankfully, there are tons of people out there who have made all levels of quality versions of their own that you can go out and play.
Yeah,
and I do. But this is something different, and it is something really interesting. I have my issues with some of the things that it does. I think there's a lot of quality of life stuff that they could continue to add over the course of this game and hopefully the next game if they make another one of these. Like I just got the fish. I got Basket Legion, the rideable Pokemon that lets you go on water.
That's right.
And I tried to catch my first thing while I was on water. And that was hell.
Did you jump?
They were just... Yeah, oh no, that wasn't a problem. It was that I had these Remoraid's, and you could not hide. There was no grass to hide behind, so you just jump.
Sure.
And when you jump, the angles all feel like shit. And the Pokemon see you immediately, and once they see you, they can't be caught like that. And that sucked. It was so bad. I found an alpha Mantine, and I was like, okay, this is cool. I can go catch that. And I was able to hit it with a couple balls, and eventually it just ran away. And I didn't know that alpha Pokemon could just disappear like that, because no other alpha Pokemon does. It seems like it's just something that happens in the water, and that sucks. I find the water to be a really terrible part of this game.
The one thing I wish you could do on the mount, really quick, just as I hate that I have to. I understand because there's an XP mechanic to it, but thing like iron ore and the trees, I wish that I could just hit those whenever I'm on a Pokemon, like versus stopping.
If there's like just a free item that's on the ground, you can totally pick it up if you're on a mount. But if you need to throw out a Pokemon to knock something down off a tree or break that block, not happening. You have to get off, and it just adds a bunch of extra time to exploring the world that doesn't feel like it really needs to be there. It's not. It wouldn't break the game to allow you to have that freedom.
Yeah, it's strange that you're allowed to throw Pokeballs from one mount, but the rest it's like no, you got to get down. Sorry.
It is, but these are all really small issues in the grand scheme of things. I'm having a great time. Bobby said he finished the game and he was a 6-star. I'm a 6-star now because I am just going in and I'm finding every Pokemon possible and I'm teaching them the moves that they need. I really like the way this game handles its Pokedex.
Yeah,
where you have to go
I think it's
in
the best
and
it's ever been.
I would tend to agree with that. It's not just catching the Pokemon. Like, that's not enough anymore. You have to do a number of things with the Pokemon to get the completed dex, whether it's to see it use certain moves, to defeat a number of them in battle, to catch a number of them, to evolve them. There's a lot of different stuff that you can do, and each one has a unique page to it. And you don't have to do everything. That's also the nice thing.
What the red does,
you can complete the thing. What the what?
So when you open your decks up, on the left, like 2 or 3 items will have the red arrows next to it. That's a multiplier.
Okay, so those are just bonus ones. Those are the ones you should go after first.
Because they count as 2. So the way that tallies up over on the right when you do it, like if you get hey, catch 2 Pokemon, that boldens one of those. Well, if that catch mechanic has the red arrows by it, that one, like when you complete the catch 2, is actually worth 2. And that's how they tally up to
that makes sense.
So that's something to keep an eye on. Like if you're out and about and you're trying to just grind through your Pokedex, like look for those red arrows and chase those, because they do rotate out depending on what's going on.
As a Destiny player, I wish there was an ability to just tag one of those and be able to pull it up really quickly to go, okay, I'm working with Ralts right now. What do I need to do with Ralts? And then just have something that says use Confusion 4 times, or you catch 3 of them, or do something like that. I wish that was something that had a little quicker access, because right now I'm going back to the decks, I'm scrolling through a bunch of stuff. There's no national dex because not every Pokemon's in this game,
right.
But the order of the Pokemon, it does not make sense to me, because it's a completely different order from everything they've done in the past. So I just end up saying, okay, alphabetical order, because that's the only one that I could possibly know where to find these Pokemon anymore.
I also have been trying to do the I've been using the map a lot more and going through, especially for alphas, and tagging them on the map. That way I can get my routes planned out a lot easier. The one thing I will say that I think they've done a really good job with is there's a tag that you can use. So there's like 6, I think. There's a flag that's above the other ones, and I really appreciate that shows up.
And that one's a full waypoint. Yeah, that shows up on your overworld, so you can actually just look around the horizon and find that one, but the stamps don't. Those are just for the map.
So I've been using that one primarily for the satchels that get dropped, and I do a quick run for that and just drop that on a satchel, do a quick boom, boom, boom. I get those 3 or 4 that are there, and that's been helping me, because if you haven't, using the bear and using the satchels is the fastest way, I think, to get the evolution materials that you'll need in the game. A little pro tip there.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some pretty useful stuff in there.
We probably need to wrap up here on Pokemon Talk. Is there anything that we need to address that we haven't addressed yet with it?
Plenty, but not enough for this. I will say that I'm really enjoying this game. I just finished the third noble Pokemon. So I guess there's 5, or at least there's 5 in the. Okay, so I've got 3 of the 5 done. I'm having a really great time. I think I still have 1 more area to open up, maybe 2 if there's. Does each noble Pokemon have its own area?
You've got 2 more areas.
Okay, cool. I like the variety of the areas. I like the variety of the Pokemon that are in each area.
And time of day.
Yeah.
Area and time of day stuff, some weather stuff that's all right in there. I don't love the space-time distortions that show up. I
really like those.
I like the idea of them, but I find them to be really difficult, because once one Pokemon sees you and starts attacking you, all bets are off. There's so little that you can do at that point, because now you just have a bunch of high-level stuff bearing down on you. And if you try to run away, those Pokemon disappear, and then new ones pop up right next to you, so it just starts the whole cycle again of, well, damn, I was trying to get away and hide, but now this new thing popped up, and now it sees me, so now I have to run the other way, and then something else pops up, and you just get in that vicious cycle. I like the idea of them. I like that eventually you get even cooler Pokemon that show up in those. Some of them, I think, are exclusive to those space-time distortions.
That's how you get the starters.
Oh, is that how you get starters? Okay.
Yeah, I found that out.
I also like that the ones that you get through, the ones that I've gotten through the space-time distortions have been things that are modern, like a Porygon, which is like, a Porygon wouldn't be an ancient Sinnoh. It was something that was created by humans
really
later. Of course, that makes sense. And I caught a Magnemite for the same thing. It's like, okay, this makes perfect sense. That's not a natural thing.
Where do those appear?
There's like public events almost, like
okay. So I've not encountered one yet.
Certain things are also triggered by the amount of catching. So like I know that the guy, do you have the guy and the girl that have the shop by the main town square now, like where you can buy? It's like a
clothes and stuff.
No. They're like a wheeled up.
The part of the Kinko guild or whatever. Yeah.
So that his inventory resets after every 20 catches. So if you buy something, So I think certain things also are triggered by like the amount of stuff that you're catching, and I believe that there is a timer that's going off for those, but also like the more that you're interacting with the environment, catching stuff, getting things, I believe triggers those as well.
Yeah, I would just suggest staying out there a little longer, and you'll probably run into one. And Bobby and I saw one during the quick look, which was really nice to see that during what we were going on. But also note that those don't just immediately start once you jump in them. They are timed. Of hey, this thing's happening, and it gives you plenty of time to get there.
Yep.
And sometimes, if you're like me and Bobby in the quick look, you just sit there waiting. Okay, when's it going to happen? And then it finally does happen, and it goes for a limited time.
Okay.
It's a cool game. I like a lot of what it's doing. I do like catching the alpha Pokemon. I think the alpha Pokemon are really cool, just how big they are. It does kind of trivialize the other Pokemon for me, though, because I only want the alpha versions of a lot of these guys.
Yep.
So, hey, I caught a Rhyperior in a space-time distortion. That's really cool. That's a big ass Pokemon that has an evolutionary thing that it requires that can be very expensive. It's cool that I just got one of these. But also, I caught an Alpha Rhyhorn, and I'm totally going to make that an Alpha Rhyperior because I want the big ass one.
Dude,
like, why would I waste my time?
One of my main go-tos. I finally got him upgraded. And he's as big as the tree he's knocking berries out of, and I fucking have never felt more I've never seen myself more identified in a video game than a fucking Alpha Rhyperior.
There are some that are really cool. I want the alpha versions. Like I want an Alpha Steelix because, like, Jesus Christ, that would be so big. But then other things like, the Eevee evolutions, I want them to be small. I like having them feel like foxes or dogs or whatever, and they have that size. So if you have a big one. Nah, that doesn't work.
I put an entire team of Eevees with me to go and evolve all of them, and I threw them all out and had them running with me or around that. It was really fucking cool.
It's a cool thing. I just have the ice one left.
I'll
get that one.
Let's talk about Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, we can try to make this kind of quick. We did talk about it a little bit last week.
I don't have a lot to add
other
than I think that game is really cool. So Chase.
Yeah, the only thing I have to add, I've now beaten it, I guess. Like I've completed it twice. Once you complete it once, you unlock a hyper mode that goes double. I think it's double the speed. Maybe it's just 1.5 times the speed, and it speeds up everything, and it's way better.
That sounds chaotic.
Yes, it is. It's chaotic immediately, and I like that. You get right into the action. I've also purchased the one of the items that lets you start with double the items. So now I get an extra. Now I'm just throwing more stuff at the screen immediately, and it feels like I'm getting way into the. I like the way that it's a roguelike, but it's a roguelike with some permanent elements to it, and it's been really fun, and it's totally free if you play it on itch, and it's super cheap if you play it on Steam. I think people should check out this game.
Absolutely.
Well, we should do a quick look at that at some point. Maybe we can get all three of us together because I know Johnny's likes that game a lot too. So, but
he doesn't
it's a great
really
game.
do quick look things. That's not really his MO.
It's fair. It's fair. We'll see. I will at least do a quick look. Whoever's on it with me, we'll see. But that's a cool game that people should play.
Oh, you'll do the quick look. You'll record it. You'll edit it. You'll use all the graphics and assets that we have and put it up.
Well, I don't have all those things, but I
Okay.
could at least record it and send it to you
Thank you.
if you wanted me to. And then lastly, I played about an hour of this, but right before the show started because I wanted to have something that nobody else had played, and that is Webbed, which is a game that came out last year, but last September, October, I think. But it showed up on Switch today, I believe. And we'll talk about it here a little bit more when we get to the games of February, because it is a game of February. I think that's really cool. It's a short. I don't know how long it is. It feels like a little game where you are a spider and you shoot webs and also lasers. But you shoot webs and you grapple a lot, and you use your webs to connect different things together, use them as bridges, use them as trampolines. It's a lot of really fun, physicky platformy, 2D platformer. And so far, it's been really fun. Again, I've only played an hour, but I think it's really inventive. I ran into a puzzle where it has some buttons that you need to bring a thing over and set it on the button. Like that's the intended route. You're supposed to oh hey, here's this little piece of wood, and you can snag that with your web and then pull it over and place it on the button. But what I tried and was shocked to see that it worked is I just laid down one piece of web on one side of the button and then put the other piece of web on the other side of the button, and it went tight. And it went tight enough where it just pressed the button by itself. I was like, okay, this is a cool, potentially unintended way of solving some of these puzzles. That seems like that might come in handy. There was another part, though. Maybe there's an easier way, and I just am not sure what I'm doing. But I keep attaching webs to, there are these pieces of pipe, and you need to connect them to these other pieces of pipe so the water can get all the way through. And all I did was I shot a web down to grab it, and I shot another web up on the ceiling so it would come up higher. But it didn't completely contract, so I just had to keep making webs, and it would just little by little by little get closer to where I needed it to go. And I feel like I shot over 40 different webs, and it's like, okay, this is super slow. There has to be a better way. And there might be a better way that I just haven't figured out mechanically yet. But I like that you can brute force these weird and interesting ways of doing it too. It's a lot of fun. It also has a dance button if you like that.
Dance the spider.
It also has a way to it also has a way to turn off the spider. You can make the spider just into a ball because a lot of people have, not a lot of people, but some people have pretty severe arachnophobia, and that can be rough for people. So it's nice that you can turn that stuff off. There's also a giant bird. I mean, it's a regular sized bird, but you're a tiny spider.
I know people who
so
are
it feels
more
like
scared
a giant
of birds
bird.
than spiders.
Birds, I would say generally worse than spiders, all things considered. But
that's webbed.
It's a fun game. I'm looking forward to playing more.
On PlayStation, on Xbox, I believe. On everything at this point, right?
And on PC as well. It's been on PC for a while. I'd say check it out. It's I don't think it's the tightest. I think it actually does control very tightly. I'm just not used to the controls yet, and I think it's something that I'll get better at as I play, and I'll probably come to really love. But it's something that initially you kind of stumble out of the gate because it does have a lot of interesting mechanics to it, and it's tough to kind of wrap your head around. I think it could be really, really cool, and I'm looking forward to going back and playing.
Neat. Chase talked about Pokemon Legends Arceus. We talked about Vampire Survivors, and he just talked about being a dancing spider and webbed. I mentioned a lot about Pokemon, but I have played a little bit, not a ton, so I'll give a very hot take on a game called RPG Golf Legends on the Switch. This is
what it's called?
RPG Golf Legends, yes.
RP Golf Legends.
RP Golf Legends.
The G
Papa's in this game.
Start of golf.
He's not,
that's a
so
good
it's
question.
immediately not as good as it should be. I think that this is actually a sequel. I believe that the first one was just RP Golf, if we're going to be correct here.
Yes, we should be. Or you could call it RP Golf if you prefer that.
RP Golf Nightly put together this sweet game. All right. I think that there's a very good game here. It's just hard to get to, and it's hard not to think about why I don't have Sports Story yet. And I knew that this would happen.
I think about that at least once a week. Why don't I have Sports Story?
I know. And I'm playing this. I'm like, you could have just played Golf Story again because that game's fucking great. But this one's neat. I haven't unlocked them yet, but there's different classes, and this one is a lot more of like an RPG, an action RPG. So there is a lot of quests in this game, and there is a whole on like fucking fighting mechanic in it that is weird. Like you'll have a bunch of fucking bad guys coming around you, and you are using your golf club as a club, not as a sports equipment tool, device, whatever you want to call it. But there is golfing in it. The golfing's fine. But I find it just a little dense, a little cumbersome at the beginning. And I think once you get some of these other classes and you get some better gear, there'll be some really cool strategy that you can bring into it also on like how you would approach it. So the whole concept is that an entity or a thing has plugged up all the golf holes where you can't golf anymore. And
Oh no!
yeah, I know. But you have a way to bust these crystals that opens up the holes, and you're building up an energy by doing quests and killing enemies. And then once you build up that bar, you can go and break one of the crystals and open that hole and play. So the golfing is a lot like Golf Story, that you'll just drop a ball down there, but the balls aren't infinite. There's different types of balls that you can get in your arsenal. There's pro shops that you can buy clubs and things. Like I do think there's a cool game here. I really do. And I think it is probably a pretty nice way to bide your time if you're waiting for something like Sports Story. It's a little pricey. If I'm not mistaken, it was like a $20 or $30 game. And that's a high price tag for what I think it is.
What are you playing this on?
I'm playing on the Switch. So I decided to pick it up there, and it's fine. It works great there. It's a nice little pixel art. It's got some decent soundtrack to it. But RP Golf or RPG Golf or RPG Golf Legends, however you want to call it, that's that. Look, the last time we all hung out, I had talked about doing something. And I started to play a game called Star Citizen, which is a neat game. It's a pretty neat game. I will give it that.
Game.
What's that?
Man, Pokemon quote, couldn't unquote. Have come at a better time to distract Bobby away from Star Citizen.
But another game that I had the base for, but have been keeping an eye on, this like it's like a DLC, but I think it also has like the base game built into it. I'm talking about a game called Elite Dangerous, but I picked up the Elite Dangerous Odyssey to be more specific. And this is, in my opinion, a much better, or at least more polished version of what you were doing in Star Citizen. And it feels a little bit more attainable than what Star Citizen does at the beginning of it. The Odyssey portion of this game is more boots on the ground. So you get out of your ship, you have first-person combat, you can have different loadouts, different armor sets, and it feels pretty good. There's some neat tools and mechanics that you can use here. It's so like one thing that you can do, like the whole hacking is really cool. And like if you want to open up these doors, the other thing is you have like a wire, not a wire cutter, but like a plasma cutter. So you can open up this panel, and then you can go in and reroute power, which is really neat on how you can use some of those things with it. It is a pretty immersive experience. I would not say it is an arcade by any stretch, especially when it comes to flying. But I really like how you do things in the cockpit. So there's when you're playing the game, your HUD is the cockpit, and you're looking out the window, which is nothing that you're unfamiliar with. But you can it's also designed to be on console, so you can use a controller with it, or you can use a mouse and keyboard. But if you use the middle mouse button, it gives you free look in your cabin. And if you look over to the left, you get this whole interactive, like, all right, here's a navigation menu. You can open up a solar system. You can open up sub-planets and all that shit. It's a gorgeous game. Like, it's very, very polished for what it is. It plays really well. I have enjoyed the morality of it too. It's like there's a legal quest that you can pick up. You can choose to be just like a taxi service. You can choose to go out and do more mercenary missions. Again, like the stuff I talked about with Star Citizen, I think this does a lot better. The one thing I don't like is the time frame. So like if you pick up a quest and it has a time limit on it, like once you start it, like if I stop playing the game and I come back to the game, like I'll fail the quest if I don't finish it, because if it was a 5-hour time window to do it and I don't get it done, it's not like it saves my state there. You just come back and those types of things, like if you abandon quests, if you fail quests, that can impact your rating in the galaxy and with these factions. But it's a neat game. I don't know how much I will play it right now with everything coming out, but chat was talking about people saying it's really great here, and it does look amazing. It is fun to play. It's currently $5 for the base game on Steam, and this add-on is $28. And there's a ton of, I mean, Elite Dangerous for $5 is a lot of video game. I can tell you that much right now.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear you speak positively about Odyssey, because I was curious and I went back and I looked at reviews, and it's not great. It's sitting at like 46% on OpenCritic for that expansion. So it's
a little bit higher now. When it first came out, it was in a beta state, and a lot of it had to do with like the stability of the game.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is just like the rig that I have or if they've made the improvements, but I've had zero issues with this game. And I'm running it at full settings, and it's been fine.
A lot of it was citing like technical issues.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if they'd ironed all of those out.
The only reason I knew that this was on sale is it's been on my wish list, and I was going to buy it when it first came out, but I read those early impressions like, hey, this maybe isn't the way to go. Stick with just playing Elite Dangerous, and I believe they had called it Horizons at the time. But I have the HOTAS in my closet here, and I'm thinking about pulling that out and using that to fly around. And I think that would be a pretty cool experience to get my stick back out for it. But that's Elite Dangerous Odyssey. It's a really cool game. It also has full VR support, and I thought that might be kind of neat for the head look aspect of it, because that is a different mechanic. So if I could have that, I might plug my Oculus into my PC and check that out one night and see what that's all about. But it's nice. pretty damn cool.
So are you done with Star Citizen then? Like, you'd play this anytime you'd want to play Star Citizen, or you could find room for both, or
so I think
both of these games are just waiting for Everspace 2 to come out with.
Oh, dude, I mean, I would be lying if I told you I have not been thinking about Everspace the entire time I've been playing this, because that's what I'd rather be doing. I had a pretty bad thing happen on Star Citizen that really bummed me out. And I know I had done a mission, took like an hour and a half into this mission, and I had a bunch of gear. And the way that they do inventory, you have inventory in your person, and then you can put it on a starship or a space station, or your ship. And then once you get your ship to a location, you can offload it and do that. And I was going into the place and loading up my person and dumping stuff on my ship. And it just fucking ate all my gear. And so a lot of the stuff I've been working
buy insurance.
You don't have to buy insurance. That's like, as somebody who actually plays the game, there is an insurance option that's coming that they will do. There is insurance in the game as far as like you can pay to have your ship brought to you if you blow it up, or you can just wait the 300 seconds or whatever it is. But my stuff did get absorbed into the ether, and I was like, you know what? Like, that fucking sucked, and I don't want to lose more stuff. My cousin who's playing it also had a pretty rough crash, hard crash, not a flight crash, but a hard system crash that wiped out some stuff too. So I think that if I was going to play one of these, I would play Elite Dangerous, because again, that's on console right now. It's a lot more polished. I think Odyssey brings some cool stuff into it. I might fire up the base game and just see, like, is it noticeably different? Because you don't get out of your ship there. I don't believe, like maybe starport stuff, but I don't think the combat's there like it is. But yeah, that's Elite Dangerous Odyssey. Very cool game. Johnny, is there anything else that we need to talk about that we haven't talked about yet for you?
No.
So that brings us over to our monthly preview, right? Is that where we're at?
Yeah, I believe it does. You ready? You ready to rock and roll with this?
You know it.
All right, let's first talk about the month of January, as we do, and see what our picks were for last month. See if they held up very well. I had Astroneer, and I specifically said if it runs well on Switch. I don't think I've seen that it's a problem on Switch, but Bobby and I talked a little bit, and we're like, hey, if I'm going to play this game, I want to play with Bobby. Mm-hmm. Bobby would... as much as he hates the Switch, he would do it for me. He'd pick up that game. Yeah. But I think knowing that I have a Steam Deck coming at some point, maybe we'll just hold off and we'll play Astroneer later.
There's also some weird.
That was a good game.
they don't offer crossplay to the Switch, and I know that I could be playing on PC and Chase could be on Steam Deck or vice versa. Or I could be on my Steam Deck too when I get mine. That game is really neat, and I would love to play that game with you. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, like that might be something that we could tool around with on a casual Monday sometime. And right now we've got a lot of stuff going on, so it's fine to kind of take a pause and not have to play this version of Astroneer.
Right.
And then I had Pokemon Arceus, I guess. Which I guess I did okay there. Bobby, you had Monster Hunter Rise. That was the PC version that just came out.
So good.
You're pretty positive on that.
Yes.
You had the Anacrusis, which I've seen a lot of people talking about, but I don't think I've heard you talk.
So
it's fine.
Yeah, I've played a little bit with Johnny. I just don't know. Those games are tough, man. Like at this stage of my life, like getting a consistent crew together to play something like that. Like I might get Johnny, I might get my cousin, but like the three of us together, nah. And if I get Johnny at all, like I'm playing Satisfactory, Deep Rock, or I'm playing Monster Hunter, and like that's
right. And you're also playing with Johnny, so can't really trust that.
If anybody's listening, and they want to play video games, there's an open spot. Fuck you, Johnny.
Only we had like some sort of Discord where we could
man.
play games.
That's one of the reasons I'm like, hey, look, I told you guys last episode, I've got 2 weeks before I start my new job, and I plan on doing some stuff for our rewards, and I plan on doing some stuff for our Discord.
Sounds good. And then you also had Pokemon Arceus. Johnny, you had Arceus as well to complete the trifecta. You had Monster Hunter Rise on the PC. Have you been playing that?
Huh?
Okay.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a much better version of that game.
And totally worth it to you to start from scratch and go all the way back
100%,
through?
Dude.
Okay. Yes.
100%. Yeah.
Without question.
And Bobby, you kind of stopped playing the Switch version knowing that you were going to pick up the PC version.
Yeah,
so
I sunk. So
you had less to go through.
I kind of did the same. I mean, on Monster Hunter World, I put like 200 hours in on Xbox, and then I put a bunch more in on the PC.
Yep.
And then I put like 40 in on the Switch for Rise before I finally stopped. It's like, okay, I'm just going to wait till this comes to PC.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ask for more Monster Hunter talk.
I mean,
that was on me.
You brought it up.
So I know I did. It's on me. That's what I said. And then you also had the Dead Cells DLC. Mm-hmm. Forgot what the title of that was. Do you remember?
I don't remember, and I did not pick it up.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, Dead Cells, really good game.
I love that game. It's so good.
I've skipped the last couple DLCs. I'm sure there will come a time where I just pick it all up and play it some more, because that game is great. But I've got plenty of other stuff that I'm playing. Moving on to the free games that you can get in the month of February. We'll start with Xbox Games with Gold. And this, on Xbox One, you can get Broken Sword 5, The Serpent's Curse from February 1st to February 28th. Nobody played a Broken Sword game. I can almost guarantee this podcast.
Let alone the fifth one.
Yeah,
they're adventure games. I hear they're okay. And then we have Aerial Knights Never Yield, which is available
that
from
was the game that Patrick talked
February
about.
16th. Yeah, we talked about it on a previous preview, and I know Patrick brought it up. It's got a black creator. It's a bit trip runner style game, and it seems fine.
Style. I played the demo. It's got a good style for sure.
Music, especially, I think sounds really good. But that is out from February 16th to March 15th. And then Xbox 360, these are compatible with Xbox One, and then everything's compatible with your Xbox Series X or S. Hydrophobia is out from February 1st to February 15th. And Hydrophobia, I had never heard of this game before, or if I had, I completely forgot about it. But it looks like it has a lot of really cool water physics that it was dealing with in the trailer that I saw. That seemed all right.
Oh, it's a survival game. Okay, Bobby, there you go.
And then Band of Bugs from February 16th to February 28th. Sorry, February 16th to February 28th. Band of Bugs is supposedly a tactics strategy game, which sounds good to me. And then I looked at it and went, I'm okay.
He's good, folks. The man's good.
And then we'll move on to PlayStation. PlayStation Plus on PS5. You can get Planet Coaster Console Edition.
These are live, by the way.
Be... Yes, these live right now. You can download all three of these PlayStation games coming up. Planet Coaster is a roller coaster tycoon style game, and then if you have a PlayStation 4 or PS5, you can grab these as well. These are the PS4 versions, though. EA Sports UFC 4, which, okay.
Didn't we talk about this making Johnny this getting his ass whipped?
We did, yeah. That sounds like sounds like some good fun. That was something we did on chat. Off pod.
Off pod,
about
Johnny.
Just making a create a character Johnny and just letting him
get fucking pummeled,
get murdered. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it sounds kind of fun, and it would be free content. Sounds good to me. And then also, speaking of free content, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep: a Wonderlands one-shot adventure.
Ugh.
What if that new game's good?
No.
Here's the thing. It could be the best game of all time. It still has the voice. It still has the writing.
I know. She sucks.
And I can't do it.
Okay.
I just can't do it.
I get it.
Yeah. We're gonna flip the switch. There's a new game with Ashley Birch as the protagonist coming out this month that we're gonna be fine with. She can do well, and that makes it even worse that she can also go to the depths like this. Anyway, that Tiny Tina new game is coming out. The regular Wonderlands, or the one just called Wonderlands. That comes out in March, I believe. So this kind of makes sense to prime people for that.
Yeah.
I think we should really just take a Friday and really destroy ourselves by playing this.
Let's do it
and see what it's like. I bet it would suck, and that might be fun for people to watch. Bobby, I'm gonna quickly throw it back over to you to talk about some Game Pass. What's on Game Pass?
There's a lot.
Or not on Game Pass anymore.
So we've got, I added that in here. I think you mentioned like you'd like to know what's leaving as well, so I put that on here.
Yeah, I just think that Game Pass, again, the best deal in gaming. Where we say it all the time, it's still true, but I think people should know that it's not just a complete library. Some of these games go away.
Sure.
And that's disappointing, because some of these games that are going away pretty good, and I would say would be selling points for Game Pass. So if you're going in thinking that you're going to play Control forever, know that that's not always the case.
Nope.
That's a spoiler. So with that being said, Dreamscaper is live right now. That is out and ready to be downloaded. A game called Contrast is going to be hitting today or tomorrow. Telling Lies, which I think I've seen that one. I think the crew over at the Short Game has talked about that, and we're pretty high
from
on
Her Story developer.
Yeah, it looks neat. They have an episode on their podcast that I checked out for that, and it was pretty damn good. Besiege is a game that I've had my eye on for a while. That looks like it'd be a fun Monday night game for us, Chase. Kind of tower defense, build some shit, blow some shit up. I know that Brad Shoemaker was pretty high on that game when it came out.
Oh, I have watched Vinny Caravella make lots of dumb shit in that game. Yeah.
And this game, I forgot the name of it, and I've always wanted to play it.
Now you can, starting February 10th. So maybe we do that. We should stream that one night, either Monday or Friday. Check that out. It should be a good time. Crossfire X, a game we'll be talking about a little bit later on. Edge of Eternity looks like a chase game. A game called Skull the Hero Slayer. I've watched a few people stream that game. It looks really neat. Really cool little side scroller RPG. The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom. I don't know much about it, but it sounds like Chase.
Edge of Eternity does not look like a game I would like. I see where you're coming from, but no, that's a no.
Ark Ultimate Survivor Edition. Informax Total Warhammer 3. I've had my eye on that one to check out.
Total War Warhammer 3.
Sorry.
Yeah, let's.
And then
remember how dumb that name is.
Yeah.
And then they've made it 3 times.
And then a game called Shredders, which we'll talk about later on, is TBD, but they have said February. As far as what's leaving, as Chase mentioned, Control is going to be taking out of rotation. Code Vein, Final Fantasy VII, The Zodiac Age, The Medium. Huh? Oh, sorry, 12.
That's 12.
12, sorry. I'm just thinking about 7, man. That's the only one I've played.
I get it.
Project Winter, and then the Falconer. Now, I don't know if these will always be gone forever. They have rotated other games back in, but those are games leaving as of February 15th. That's your month of Game Pass. Some games we'll be talking about here right now.
All right, let's get it going. On February 1st, so already happened. It's out. It's out right now. The Life is Strange Remastered Collection coming out. PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Stadia. Let's say the thing we always say about Life is Strange.
Oh, hey, we should play Life is Strange. I thought it was a thing that you were going to say about Stadia. Like, what's a Stadia? I thought that's what we're doing there.
Yeah, I could have done that, but no, I'm going to do the Life is Strange one, which is, yeah, I'd like to play that sometime. I should totally do that. And then I never do.
Dang.
Anyway. Yeah. So, those games seem fine. Those games seem good. At least the first one. Second one, I'm not sure. And then they've made a bunch more kinds of those games.
He's going to be on the Switch, right?
Colors is good.
Do what, Bobby? What'd you say?
They're coming to the Switch, right?
Yeah. All of this on the Switch and everything else. So you can play it anywhere.
Cool.
We mentioned it before. February 2nd, Webbed came to the Nintendo Switch. Came out to the PC last September. I think it plays great. So I'll play more of that and maybe get back. And then we have one of the bigger ones this month, and that is Dying Light 2 Stay Human. That's coming out on the 4th of February for PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Is it really coming to the Switch?
I think it's a cloud version.
Cloud? Okay, that would make sense.
Version of it.
Okay, so I've read some reviews that have come out today. It seems like the embargoes for reviews went up today, so I've been reading a bunch of stuff. I made this note over the weekend, so let's read what I have here in the note. Once I just looked at some trailers and then wrote some stuff down. I said, this looks really pretty and very ambitious. Seems like a game one of the two of you is going to gush over. And now I've read the reviews, and now I'm not so sure.
Well,
I mean, the reviews are mostly positive.
Yeah, the reviews are higher than what the first game was.
I mean, I read through Waypoint. I know Waypoint doesn't like a lot. I know. And so then you read
Waypoint's review for this.
Just because I knew Bobby would fucking do this because he doesn't like that shit. I was like, fine, I'll go to IGN. IGN, the most generic of all game people, and they gave it a 7. And if you watch the actual review and read what they say, holy shit, they tear into that game. That's not a fucking 7. Did you actually read what you wrote?
The voices that I trust outside of our own for these types of things.
You don't trust my voice. Don't
I know.
lie.
I trust your voice. It's a good thing of what not to do. A lot of what I've heard is that the barrier to entry of this one takes a little bit longer to get up and running, but once it hits its stride, it's actually pretty damn good.
Just needs 10 to 15 hours, and then it really gets going.
Oh,
hey.
Yeah.
Listen, do we need to
this
is
too much time. That is too much time for your game to become good.
Johnny, 15 hours is nothing when your game is 500 hours long.
Look, I'm going to go back a few years here, friends. Go back to 2017. Let's talk about Persona. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Persona 5, a game that we revere on this show. And
I do not.
You love Persona 5.
I like Persona 5. I would love it if it didn't have those first 20 hours, which is my problem, which is where you were going to talk about.
85 hours after it that worked out just fine.
And that's not good enough.
Oh my god.
I'm just...
How many hours
I will probably pick this up when it goes on sale in a couple months.
So
that's where I'm at.
I think this will be fun. The first one is a good time. I did not play it when it first came out. I've only recently played the first one, and I'm excited to to have this one and check it out. I will be playing this on Friday.
All right. I hope you enjoy it. Just the stuff that I've read and seen from outlets of all kinds is that the faction stuff is really flat, that you're either working with cops or you're working with people who are just kind of doing their own thing, which seems like a pretty easy decision. That the parkour stuff is really cool, but they gate, like you said, they gate a lot of that stuff off. And then I think it's even weird that you have a really cool parkour system and then just give somebody a hang glider so they fly over all the parkour. What's the point of that? I don't know.
Like giving somebody a bird in Pokemon.
I like that first game. I think that first game was neat.
I haven't played the first game, so.
And I have a friend who I do game sharing with on the PlayStation, and he just bought the first game today because it was like $12. And I might play some of that while I wait for this to go on sale.
Bobby, again, I hope you enjoy it. It was never going to be a game that I was going to play because I just don't play zombie games on principle at this point. I'm so
lots of principles on zombies. I understand.
I was pretty excited by those trailers, even though it wasn't a game I was going to play. And then hearing the reviews, I was less interested. On the 8th.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I know that there's a day one patch that I'm wondering if that'll fix a lot of the issues that people are running into.
Maybe. That was another thing that the IGN review said was that was extremely buggy. Even in the review, they're showing people falling through the world multiple times and really hitchy frame rates.
I do know that the reviews for PC are much higher than those for console as well. Yeah. And I just wonder if that's one of the things too, where like that it's just chugging way too much on those, even for the newer machines. So hopefully there's some optimization. And look, it's probably like, I think this is probably a good C or B game, right? And if I can get this to like get me through until like later February, that's fine by me.
Yeah, but they didn't spend C or B money on it, which that might get to the point of a little weird.
Game Freak certainly did on their graphics though, and we love that game.
That's true. Yeah, we do. And this game looks very pretty.
And they have way more money than from these guys.
Yeah, there's lots of fun to be had in this, I'm sure. So
on the 8th, Ali World is coming to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X.
Hey, it has a Switch logo on it. We're gonna like this conversation, Chase. We're gonna be happy.
Are we?
It's got a Switch logo. You automatically have to like it.
It's not true. I think this looks very fun. I like this new art style that's going for that more. It feels very Adventure Time inspired, but maybe really cool. Even weirder if that's possible. My problem is that if it plays like Ali, which a game called Ali World probably does play like Ali, probably not gonna love it. Those mechanics are a little too specific, and it's not the kind of skateboarding game that I'm into. I enjoyed a little bit of the first Ali, and then the second one.
PS Plus?
It was.
It might have been. Yeah.
I played some of that game, and I thought it was okay.
The thing I remember not liking especially is that you had to hit something. You had to hit something on the control stick once you landed anything, and I found that to be a really shitty mechanic where it just felt like it was too precious about that. It was too specific on the things that it wanted you to do, and I didn't feel like I could just enjoy skating. It just felt like a puzzle the entire time. I can't fucking
wait. This thing looks great.
It does. It looks awesome. And maybe having a more fun art style and maybe a more laid back feel, maybe it does relax some of the mechanical issues that I have with the previous Ali games.
Is that you, Johnny? Are you dad a father figure?
Me.
I believe it.
That's me.
So I'm hoping this game's good. I'm just kind of ready for it not to be, even though I really love a lot of the stuff they're doing with it.
That's on the 8th, half empty attitude we're looking for here at the show.
Hey, that's the casual hour promise. Also on the 8th, we are getting Sifu for the PC, PS4, and PS5. Johnny, I think you're probably the most excited of any of us on this one, right?
Yeah, I think this game looks pretty good.
It does.
I think you can get this.
Might pick this one up.
You can probably use that coupon that's on Epic right now and get it $10 off.
Really?
I think so. I know. It's exclusive to the Epic Game Store. They have a coupon right now. I don't know if you can apply it to this or not, but I think that you might be able to.
Well, let's find out, shall we?
Go for it.
Yeah, I think this game looks neat.
Yeah,
that's a really
I like
cool
the
concept.
I like the mechanic. I like the concept. I like the mechanic where it's a third person fighting brawler game, but every time you get killed or knocked down, you get older, and you can only you only have so many lives per se, in that you exponentially get older as you go, and I believe your stats change, right? Like you get more skill points or something, but you start getting to the point where you are losing health.
Yes.
Because you're just not as strong anymore.
Yeah, I honestly I could not say. I've just seen like some trailers for this.
Yeah.
Haven't delved too deeply into how the game actually works, but it looks like it's got some style. And I liked Absolver. I played a little bit of that. I thought it was pretty good.
This one seems like it has a little bit more fluidity to it than what Absolver does, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It looks really cool. It is basically a Dark Souls kind of game though, which is probably not gonna be enough for me, unfortunately. But when you get your old boy in your Dark Souls, that maybe there's something there. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good.
Looks cool.
Moving on to the 10th, we're getting Crossfire X, which Bobby mentioned will be on Game Pass. It's coming to Xbox One and Xbox Series X. I had only heard the name Crossfire X and thought, oh, this seems like some generic bullshit that I don't care about. And then I watched the trailer and went, yep, this is absolutely some generic bullshit I don't care about. And then I watched to like 15 seconds into the trailer and went, wait a minute, is that a zombie? What the fuck is this? I thought this was some Call of Duty ripoff. And then I waited for another 5 seconds and went, what the fuck? Are these mechs? What the fuck is this game? Bobby, what the fuck is this game?
Crossfire X, or Crossfire, is a pretty popular Eastern game that is coming over here to the States for the first time, and you've got Remedy working on the campaign for it, so you can expect a lot of shenanigans that you would expect from Remedy. I think it's a pretty popular multiplayer game. I feel very confident that this is going to end up being in the universe, the shared universe of Control and Alan Wake now. And as Remedy's talked about, like adding and expanding on that, I think this is going to end up being a pretty big trip for a first-person shooter. Being on Game Pass, I'm very excited to check out the story of it. I don't care much about the multiplayer aspects, but I do think playing through a really mind-bendy first-person experience could be a lot of fun, and it's not going to cost me anything that I haven't already paid for. So I'm looking forward to it. It looks neat. It looks very, very neat.
Is it also coming to PC? All I've seen is Xbox and Xbox Series X.
I think so. I will Johnny, can you double check that for me really quick? I think it is going to be there. Let me see on my note what I have.
Crossfire X.
It says console, but I bet you it would be PC as well.
Series XS, Xbox One.
Not PC.
Interesting. Well, that's too bad for Bobby because he doesn't have an Xbox.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about PC.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would have to imagine it would get to PC eventually, but I don't play stuff on my Xbox, but I want to keep an eye on this because I think it looks pretty damn cool. Also on the 10th, if you're not into interesting shooters, maybe you'd be interested in Kingdom Hearts.
No.
Okay. We'll get through this really quickly. Kingdom Hearts 1.5 or Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 remix, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 remix, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 final chapter prologue, and Kingdom Hearts 3 all coming to the Switch. That's all the, well, it's not all the Kingdom Hearts games, but it's a lot of the Kingdom Hearts stuff. There is a big bundle that you can buy. Couple things you should know, though. These are all cloud versions of the games. Even the 1.5 stuff, which is like that's a PS2 game. Why can't you bring a PS2 game to a Switch? But all of these are cloud versions of these, which is kind of a bummer. And they all cost way more on Switch than other platforms. We talk about Switch tax, but these games together are like 20.
You're paying more for bad games that aren't even on your Switch.
Yeah,
It costs a lot more than the money that you're putting on it.
That's true. It takes a toll on the body and the mind.
Your mortal
not
soul.
Just the wallet. Yes, but I think you could, if you really wanted to play Kingdom Hearts, which I'm not saying you should. You can get like the big full collection of everything on PlayStation 4 or 5 for like $25. Yeah, whereas $25 is going to get you like one of these games.
If you play this on the Switch, you're just going to get Norted.
Yeah, there you go. So if you like Kingdom Hearts, I'd say play it somewhere else. Don't play it on the Switch. Don't do that.
You're going to get Norted if you do that shit ever again. And you know what, Johnny? I knew before I started this episode tonight.
What?
Why don't you see how much it costs to like you?
I don't give a shit.
I knew that you would do something. I
think Bobby got Norted.
And I did it. I went in and I upped it preemptively.
Johnny, just so I know for the title of the podcast, how do you spell Norted?
Norted.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. That's very helpful. Also on the 10th, we are getting Rise of the Third Power. This is coming for PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Friend of the show, Brian Glynn. This is his most anticipated game of the month of February. It is a sequel to an RPG called RFL. These are RPG Maker games. They're, not they have a very specific look to them, and it's games that were made in RPG Maker. But apparently they're really good, from what I hear. I have RFL downloaded and need to play that at some point. And this game, Rise of the Third Power, it's a sequel. It takes place way after RFL, and it seems. Go ahead.
This looks like old Dragon Quest.
Yeah, a little bit. But apparently, it actually has a lot of mechanics that feel very similar to Chrono Trigger. Ooh, cool. Which is always a good one to try to crib from. So I'm kind of interested, especially in combat stuff where it has combo attacks with different party members and different configurations like that. That sounds kind of cool. I'll probably end up checking this out eventually, and by eventually I mean I'll download it and keep it on my Switch forever and probably never play it. Just like RFL. So
hey, look, Chase, if you don't play it, you can't. Dislike it. So you should play it just so you can dislike it.
That's true. That's a good point. I did go through my Switch library today and just made a list of like, hey, what are the games that I have on my Switch that I haven't actually even played that I should? And here's just a partial list. It goes down quite a ways. I haven't played really any of these games, and that's very disappointing. It's what I do. It's what I'm good at. Moving on to other stuff that I'm good at. On the 15th, we're getting Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires for PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. I'm the only one who cares about Dynasty Warriors, so let me tell you again, the Dynasty Warriors 9 sucked shit. That game was bad. They tried to make it open world, and it was terrible. The Empires games, I've never played any of the Empires games before, but they are much more strategic. They do have you do get down and you battle as a solo person, but there's a lot of stuff in between the battles that looks kind of Fire Emblem Three Houses style when you're going into the Garreg Monastery, where you're talking to different lords, creating alliances, building skills, working on castles, all that kind of politics stuff, which sounds kind of good. And then they also said the magic words that even though the game is still the same open world that they had before, and if you go into a mode where you can just run around as your created lord, you can walk around the open world as much as you want. When you come to the actual battles, all the battles are siege battles, where you're either defending your castle or attacking a specific castle, and they cut off the stage. So they are individual stages, which is the kind of Dynasty Warriors that I like, not the big dumb open world shit that was absolutely terrible in 9. So I'm kind of interested in this. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to pull the trigger, but I'm interested.
Don't you dare.
I don't. I'm not going to, but I'm inclined. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on. And also on the 15th, there's a lot of stuff coming out on the 15th. Star Wars: The Old Republic, The Legacy of the Sith. That's 2 colons that you're getting there. PC only. This is a new expansion. Guys, I've got a question. I've never played The Old Republic.
It's cool.
It's cool.
It was PC only. It never had a Mac version, never a console version. There's that thing called Steam Deck coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I could get way into The Old Republic. You guys have both played it. I kind of want to know, how is this game single player? I feel like I remember BioWare saying, hey, this was, we're not making KOTOR 3, we're making KOTOR 3, 4, 5, and 6 with this MMO, and you can play it all single player. Does that track? Is that actually possible these days?
The stuff that I played could absolutely be done on a single player. However, I think that if you really got into it and you wanted some of the better loot, you'd probably want to link up with some people. And I think that it has, if I remember correctly, it has matchmaking for that stuff. So you could find people to run through a dungeon with, but the problem with that is, like, this isn't like Destiny where you can cheese your way through stuff or just like be really good at shooting things. Like, you're going to need people to play the roles specifically, and you're going to need to ask for help. Like, I need a healer, I need a tank. Those are things that you're going to have here. So not that you have to have it. By all means, you don't have to have that. You can, the bit of this game that I played was really enjoyable by myself. I found it to be harder. It just always feels more disorganized whenever you have somebody else. It's like, okay, well, what are you doing? What should we be doing? How are we going to do this?
Sure.
But playing it by myself was a good time. It's a neat game.
How much does it feel like an MMO versus how much does it feel like Nice Old Republic when it comes to something like combat?
It feels like fucking WoW or Final Fantasy Online. Like
cooldowns.
It's absolutely one of those. It does not feel anything like KOTOR.
That's a bummer. That might not work for me. I don't know. I haven't really played an MMO, and I'm not really inclined to start now. I don't know. Anyway, new expansion. If you're still playing The Old Republic, when did that game come out? Like, that game's over a decade old, isn't it?
Yeah. It came out
2010,
like 2009, 2010.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Christ. Still going though. Good for them. That's weird that it's only ever been on PC. Like over a decade, and you haven't even brought it to other computer platforms, much less consoles. Anyway. On the 18th, we're getting Horizon Forbidden West for PS4 and PS5. This is a sequel to one of Bobby's 25 top 5 games of all time. An impressive feat. Featuring the voice talents of Ashley Birch.
Chase just plays Animal Crossing and calls it a day.
Sure, it's true. You don't have top 5 games if you only have one game.
Chose poorly.
So I know we're all relatively excited for this. I'm probably the least because I thought you were doing a selfie.
No,
he's taking a photo of his wall. Okay, that's fine.
Look at her.
That's a blur. There you go. That's better. That looks like Aloy.
There she is.
Is this something we're all getting?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. This is outside of Breath of the Wild, if it even comes out this year, my most anticipated game of the year, by a large margin.
Large Marge?
Large Marge. Tell them that they sent you. I can't fucking
Large
wait.
Marge got Norted? What?
Is there anything else we know about this game? They keep seeing TV commercials for it, which you don't see every day for Sony.
Yeah. What do you want to know? I'd be happy to give you some insight.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
improved traversal. Combat looks like it's been reworked. Like,
they completely redid the melee attack on it. They've the story is you are going to the Forbidden West because there is this thing that is corrupting the land that one of the characters from the first game has seemingly been doing behind your back. So you're going out to try and stop it. You're uncovering more about your past and the weight that comes with the knowledge you find out about who you are and why the world is the way that it is.
Is it Zavala? Is he the one, or whoever his voice actor?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And as Johnny mentioned, they really have done some quality of life stuff that will make moving through this game so much better. That you have a paraglider now, pressing really quickly.
Yeah, every game has to have a paraglider.
That's the way it goes.
Breath of the Wild was made, therefore we all must make our game like Breath of the Wild.
Exactly.
Hey, it's
you could steal from worse games for sure.
One of the other cool things is that the focus has been retooled to where you can quickly press that and will highlight all things around you that you can use to traverse and parkour through. They've added some power-up abilities that you can do to your staff that are almost like an ultimate attack now, which looks really interesting. And it seems that you are going to be getting into a lot bigger battles of other people that can control these machines besides just you. So I think they've, not to compare it to another one of my loves with Star Wars, but if the first game is the origin, this is certainly seeming like it's going to be a much darker tale for the protagonist and have a really big Empire Strikes Back repercussion. Like, I think this is going to be a very hard story for Aloy to go through. I don't think it's going to be very fun for her.
All right.
Oh, and swimming. Swimming is a big part of this.
Oh yeah, of course. Gotta swim. I like to swim.
I'm surprised.
What? That I like to swim, or that I like anything at all?
The latter.
Yes. Okay, I thought so. Well, here's something I like. On February 22nd, Destiny 2: The Witch Queen, Sony Computer Entertainment's Destiny 2: The Witch Queen, coming out for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Stadia. It's the new Destiny expansion. What more do you want me to say?
How are you going to decide between this and Animal Crossing?
I mean, I play Animal Crossing in the mornings, play Destiny in the evenings. It's pretty easy.
Is it, though?
That's it.
Nothing about what you just said sounds easy.
Destiny in the morning, Destiny in the evening, Destiny at supper time.
Yeah, when Destiny's on PlayStation 5, you can play Destiny anytime.
Exactly.
When it's on your Steam Deck, you can play it anytime. Thank you very much.
That's also true. I don't know. People, it doesn't matter. You guys don't care, and you'll be playing Horizon. You don't have time for this shit. I'll be playing Destiny.
I will probably not be playing this right away, but I think that I will probably end up grabbing the expansion.
I don't think you will.
I don't know. I might not. Like, I have been pretty lit down.
Honestly, I don't think there's a reason for you to. Like, the last few expansions you have the last few seasons, let's say, you've started and then kind of fallen off because it's not your thing. You've got other stuff. We're not those people anymore that are playing Destiny all those nights. I mean, I am.
But the thing, though, is that I really like when the big expansion comes out, you get some new story stuff. Like, I like that, but the season stuff has just felt like copy paste for me. As somebody who doesn't play it as much as others, like, okay, you had the sundial, and then you had everything else that was trying to get close to being the sundial, and you did that, and that was it.
Yeah. If you enjoyed Beyond Light, where they added the stasis subclass, they're basically changing the Void subclass to work the same way. Or we'll have the aspects and fragments where you can kind of customize your abilities and your loadout from a subclass specific thing. That seems like a pretty cool idea. They've shown off a lot of the new exotics. There's going to be this new glaive weapon. There are exotic glaives for each class. Like the Titan has one that can shoot little mini bubbles. Like the protective bubble that they use on the Void class. The Hunter has one that has chain lightning, and
the enemies can also have Ghost. That's a big deal.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, the enemies are now also wielding light, so you're going to have more difficult enemies that can resurrect themselves with their ghosts the same way that you resurrect yourself as a guardian. it seems like it's going to have a lot of good stuff in there. I'm interested to see it. I did play a little bit of Destiny 2 last night to try to kind of get some specific things that I had left hanging, because I have also kind of fallen off Destiny in the last month or two. But I'm looking forward to jumping back in and seeing more about Destiny's about. Moving on, also on the 22nd, we are getting Monarch, Monark, for PC, Switch, PS4, and PS5. This kind of looks like a horror-themed Persona game, and there's a good reason for that, because former staff from the Shin Megami Tensei games are working on it. It seems kind of neat. I'm not a big horror guy. I don't like this style, but I do like Persona-style games. And this is one of those where it kind of goes from school to dungeon stuff.
It looked like an XCOM game, but it was...
I know exactly which one you're talking about, and I don't know the name either.
Something with an S. But it reminds me stylistically, at least that part with like the red and black and gray that they have, like that was the color palette for that game. And it was kind of spooky as well. It reminds me a little bit of that.
Yes. Yeah. So that's out there. It looks kind of good, but I don't know if I'm going to play it. On the 25th, Atelier Sophie, the Alchemist, Atelier Sophie 2, sorry, the Alchemist of the Mysterious Dream. I know, Bobby, you're really excited about this one. This is coming out for PC, Switch, and PS4.
I don't even have it pulled up right now. Hang on, I gotta get it.
Yeah, Bobby,
we go.
You gotta get the anime up there. What are you doing, buddy? You gotta have the anime. So the Atelier games, it's a long-running series. I tried one of them with the first Atelier Ryza game, which is the one that seemed to really pop off for the series, and then they made a sequel to that, Ryza 2. I think the original Sophie was before Ryza, and so they're just coming back around to a sequel to this Sophie one. They all have different worlds. They're all about crafting. And I did not really enjoy the crafting in Ryza. And so I'm not going to play this. But it does look sufficiently anime. It's
checking all the boxes.
This is very
good enough for a lot of people. Good enough for a lot of people. And that's it. Nothing else is coming out in February. Certainly not any game that Johnny cares about. So I guess we'll just call it there.
Johnny, you are getting this, right?
Oh,
Atelier Sophie 2? Yeah,
oh,
absolutely. He's
sure.
into that. Also on the 25th, Elden Ring comes out for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Bobby, can you imagine if this was a game that we would actually enjoy?
So I have committed to playing it.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Who forced you to do that?
My cousin. And...
This cousin of yours.
He's bought the game. We have a shared library. He's adamant that because this is an open world game, I will like it. But I told him that this is a Dark Souls game where you have more things coming at you. I don't want nothing. I don't want any of that. Look.
Your horse can run up a cliff. What more do you want?
Run up a cliff.
I don't know why. How does any of this look like it would not just want to kill you? Like, I don't understand how this game would be any less. It
all wants to kill you. That's the whole point.
Oh my god, I can't wait. Taking off work.
Got Podfriend in it. Remember Jeff Keighley's?
What about the big? Wasn't he like an Apple Knight or something like that? Like
the Onion Knight.
Oh, Onion Knight. Sorry.
Yeah. Siegward and Siegmeyer.
He lost me.
Yeah.
So there's a wolf with a big sword. That's Dark Souls 1, but
I'm calling it right now.
Is that Sith?
I will lose my cousin
Artorias.
And I will lose Johnny.
No, Artorias is
the knight, but the wolf was
Johnny will stop Horizon completely for this, guaranteed.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Johnny's buying Horizon at all, knowing
I honestly
that
am.
He's got Elden Ring. Like, what are you doing?
Insanely excited for both of these games.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to finish Horizon before Elden Ring comes out.
No.
So you're going to play like 10 hours of Horizon, and then you're going to play all of Elden Ring, and then you're going to come back and play the rest of Horizon? Is that your plan?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not going to play them concurrently. You're not going to... No way. You're not going to have
I think Elden Ring will be Horizon. Substantially harder to come back to than Horizon would be.
Yeah.
Sure. But also, like, priorities-wise, Johnny cares more about the Dark Souls game. Let me ask you this.
Don't undercut my excitement for Horizon. Aloy is my girl. I'm really excited to go on another adventure with her. But yeah, once Elden Ring comes out, that will take all of my attention for the foreseeable future, and then I'll get back to Horizon. But I'm definitely not going to sleep on Horizon. There's a whole week where I can play that before Elden Ring comes out. So
how much of an impact? Because they are pushing this. They've been pushing this pretty hard throughout the entire development. Mm-hmm. How much do we think that the George R. R. Martin stuff matters? Like, does it actually?
It's the basic lore of the world.
The president of FromSoft came out recently. He's like, George R. R. Martin's not going to like what I did with his characters.
Yeah. Yeah, Miyazaki said. I believe
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he basically wrote like an outline for like this is the universe. These are some of the characters.
He wrote the words Elden Ring, and From went, okay, we'll make that the title, and that's it.
Exactly.
Like, nothing I'm seeing here. Do I think George R. R. Martin wrote this character who's got a bunch of arms on his arms? Like, no, I don't think that does not sound like something George R. R. Martin would write.
I'm pretty sure he made that character as far as like all the arms and stuff are concerned, like all the demigods and things that you're fighting. He created all those. Whatever creative direction From took it with the foundation.
But also he has he it was totally a foundation thing. He hasn't been a part of this project for years.
Yeah.
So I'm sure
he hasn't been doing anything else. That's for fucking sure.
Good point.
God, I just people trying to tell me that this is not going to be a Souls game can fuck right off.
It's absolutely a Souls game.
God,
that's the selling point.
This is bullshit Souls, just bigger. You know what they say?
Looks like it's
more Souls, more problems. Puff Daddy taught me that.
I still think if I was going to play any one of these, it would be Sekiro.
Sekiro?
Yeah, it'd be Sekiro. Yeah, I think I'd play Sekiro before I would play this. I'm not going to do that either.
All right. I'd probably play this one.
And then we have one game. Bobby mentioned it with the Game Pass thing. It doesn't have a specific release date yet, but it's supposed to come sometime in February, and that is Shredders.
That looks really cool.
For the Xbox Series X. I love snowboarding games. They're almost always bad, but they almost always look pretty. And I'm a sucker for this shit. Like, look at them carve up that fresh powder.
Chase,
that's so nice.
I have played the SSX game that came out on Xbox 360 within the last 2 months.
That's a good game. That one is legitimately a good game.
I love that game.
It's what that game, SSX Tricky, of course. Mm-hmm. Those are good games.
1080 snowboarding. Hello.
Nah, that game. I've played a lot of that game, and that game fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's bad. I played it on my Metroid. It's bad.
Amp 2, Amp 3. People like the Amp games. I don't. Outside of those, is there any other good snowboarding game?
Riders Republic had good snowboarding.
What was the snowboarding game that came out? It was definitely more like in the vein of like a Crazy Taxi. It would have been like 2008, 2007. 360 game. Had a really good soundtrack to it.
Sounds
SSX.
Like
it is.
You sure it's not just Tricky?
Foster the People in it.
Had what?
Foster the People?
No, that wasn't 2007, 2008. It was
like 2010.
Yeah, this would have been. 11? They had like a lot more like indie rock on it. God, what was that game?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm going to be checking this game out though.
Yeah.
I like Snowboard Kids for the Nintendo 64.
Yep, that's a good one.
It's Mario Kart with snowboards. Yeah, I want this game to be good because I love the idea of snowboarding games. And
what was that?
But also, it's also Xbox Series X exclusive, so I'll have no way to play it. But I want it to be good. I want it to be good. And that's your month of February. It's time for us to get to the picks. My picks, Webbed, which I've played a little bit tonight, and you heard me talk about my thoughts on that. Destiny 2, of course, because how could it be? And then, like I said, I'll probably end up buying that Rise of the Third Power game because I want to play interesting, cool RPGs. But then I also don't actually want to play them. I just want to own them. So that's what I'm going to do. Bobby, you've got some stuff on your list. What are you liking?
What am I liking? Well, obviously, I'm very much into Horizon Forbidden West, Dying Light 2, Stay Human, Ali Ali World, and probably Destiny at some point.
I do not see a world where you are playing Destiny in February. I don't even see a world where you're playing it this year, but
yeah,
go with God. Johnny, how about you?
Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, and Sifu looks kind of neat, so I'll probably pick that up.
Cool. Well, guys, I know it's been a little bit longer, but we did have some big news to cover at the top, and then, of course, it's the three of us, so we were going to talk a lot about Pokemon. How could we not? But that's the month of February. Thank you for joining us for it. Bobby, why don't you send us home?
I will send us home, for sure. So as we wrap up, we have a lot of games to talk about, some really good games that we enjoyed. And I want to say thanks to Chase, first and foremost, for always putting together such an awesome breakdown of those games. I know it takes a lot of time, and it is very much appreciated. It makes our life here on the show just so much easier to have that note ready to go. So thank you, Chase. We appreciate you. Johnny,
thank you.
Thanks for being here this time. I realized before the show that I had not set up the note to have, or the stream to have you included on it, because you were out last time. But
that was not an oversight. That was
So let's break down. If you look beneath us, we actually have updated this to have everything that we've got going on. So Monday we talked about, we played Genshin Impact on stream, and that went fine. That's just a very big game that I have not spent a lot of time with recently, so I felt a little overwhelmed, but it was fun to hang out with Chase in that world and talk a little bit about the.
And I was overwhelmed because I had never been to that area that you brought us to at the beginning, which was cool. It was nice to see someone new, but
sure,
it also reminded me how much of that game there is that I haven't even seen all.
If you look also to the right there, Tuesday we have a quick look that went up for Pokemon Legends Arceus. We've obviously talked a lot about that game, but go back and check out our previous stream and our quick look to see in action what that game is. It's very, very good. Tonight, of course, was our February preview. Tomorrow, we have a quick look for Super Auto Pets going up, and that will be a great time, so please tune in for that. And then Friday night, Johnny and I are going to be heading back to the factory for our Unsatisfactory stream of that wonderful game, Satisfactory. If you want to follow along with all the good shit that we get into, you can do so by going to those links there in chat, checking out thecasualr.com, or any of the other ways to do it. Chase, you've been a busy bee too, man. What do you got going on?
Yeah, excited to come here with some new stuff. There's a new episode of Gamers on the Go out right now with one Johnny Amazich and myself talking about our analog pockets, and also some Game Boy sports games, baseball, tennis, and golf. That was a good time. I had a great time talking with Johnny about those machines and those games. And you can hear that entire conversation at gamersonthego.com, and download the episode, listen to it on SoundCloud, whatever you want. And then I also have a YouTube channel at Chase K Plays, and you can watch Johnny and I again. We've been playing through Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, doing a Nuzlocke run. And it's been going okay so far. We've only lost one Pokemon, and I would say that was it's just a silly mistake. Not we shouldn't have lost that Pokemon. That was dumb of us. But that game is fine. It's fine, but I think it's a lot more fun in this format when we're playing it as a Nuzlocke and getting a little bit more challenge out of it, thinking about it a little bit more. And also we're kind of doing comparisons to the original Gen 4 games as we go. What's different? What's stayed the same? A lot of it stayed the same. But it's been a good time, and I'm glad Johnny's there with me as we go through it. It's been fun. But you can follow that at Chase K Plays on Twitter. Look up Chase K Plays on YouTube for that.
There it is. All kinds of content for you to check out. We appreciate everybody who swings around. Again, Preston, we're rooting for you. We hope that you feel better soon. For everybody who hung out with us in chat tonight, we say thank you. We appreciate you, and we will be back live Friday night for Unsatisfactory. Take care of yourself. and stay warm.